Today in this video we will learn all about communication right from the smoke signals to the 5G technology. Let's dive into the history of wireless communication and see how it has evolved over the years. The earliest form of communication was smoke signals. The first form of communication started after the invention of the Morse code by Samuel F. B. Morse in the 1830s. It uses different signal lengths to encode characters known as dot and dash. With a dot shorter and dash longer duration signals are generated. This encoded message will be sent via a wired medium and will be interpreted at the receiving end by a person simply by listening to the sequence received. Let's move on to wireless communication. The history of wireless communications starts in the 19th century with the theoretical prediction of electromagnetic waves by James Clerk Maxwell in the 1860s. 2 decades later, it was experimentally proved by Heinrich Hertz in 1888. Hertz used a simple homemade experimental apparatus involving an induction coil and a Leyden jar, the original capacitor, to create electromagnetic waves and a spark gap between two brass mirrors to detect them. The gaps were difficult to see and required that he performs his investigations in a darkened room. For the sparks are microscopically short, scarcely a hundredth of a millimeter. They last only about a millionth of a second. It almost seems absurd and impossible that they should be visible. But in a perfectly dark room, they are visible to an eye which has been well rested in the dark. The first wireless telegraph system was invented by Italian engineer Guglielmo Marconi in 1896. He demonstrated a newly developed device by sending radio signals across the Atlantic Ocean and received it successfully. The wireless telegraphy consists of different instruments such as transmitter, modulator, antenna, receptor, and interpreter. The transmitter generates high frequency electrical signals, typically in the radio frequency range. These signals are usually generated by an oscillator which produces a continuous wave carrier signal. The operator uses a keying device such as a telegraph key to interrupt the continuous wave carrier signal. The interruptions correspond to the dots and dashes of Morse code. When the key is pressed, it completes an electrical circuit, allowing the carrier signal to pass. When the key is released, the circuit is broken, interrupting the carrier signal. The interrupted carrier signal is modulated with the Morse code information. The keying action causes the carrier signal to be turned on and off rapidly, encoding the dots and dashes of Morse code on to the carrier. The modulated carrier signal is then fed into an antenna, which converts the electrical signals into electromagnetic waves and radiates them into space. The antenna broadcasts the modulated signal, carrying the Morse code information. On the receiving end, another antenna picks up the electromagnetic waves from the air and converts them back into electrical signals. These signals are then amplified and demodulated to recover the original Morse code. The received Morse code signals are interpreted by the operator or decoded by a machine to convert them back into letters, numbers, or other transmitted information. Wireless telegraphy played a vital role in long-distance communication before the advent of more advanced technologies such as telephones and the Internet. It enabled messages to be transmitted over vast distances without the need for physical wires, revolutionizing communication and opening up new possibilities for global connectivity. Marconi improved his telegraph further and holds 800 wireless patents. Later, this technology has proved its significance in the history of events. SOS signals from the sinking Titanic was received by nearby ships, and 700 people were rescued. It was the most efficient form of distress signal during that period of time. The first commercial radio started broadcasting on November 2, 1920 by station Westinghouse Electric and Manufacturing Company in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, United States. The day has significance in US history. People could hear the presidential elections results before they read them in the newspaper. We will learn more about this topic in the second part of this video. Till then, let me know in the comment sections on which topics you would like to know more about. Thanks.